Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of Lancer Custom Werks, where I will be discussing the various mech builds you could make and play with Lancer. White Witch feels pretty damn invincible. White Witch is, bar none, the toughest goddamn frame in Lancer, debatably even over Napoleon, due to the fact that its core passive gives it armor every time it takes a hit, giving it a maximum of 6 armor. Hell, White Witch actually loves to be immobilized to become an indestructible barrier. It can gain more overshield just by bracing, and then there's this, which means that even if NPC isn't hitting the White Witch, it will get tougher just by protecting its allies from attack. Its core power even put this aspect completely over the top, and yet, like Monarch, despite being a size 2, it can still move ridiculously fast, but there's one problem: unlike Napoleon, White Witch can't take the spice. So if you see a witch, kill it, fast. You should kill a witch just for existing anyway, even if your team don't have a White Witch. In the following 40 White Witch builds, you are gonna see a lot of Ferro Fluid Lance and Pinning Spire because they turns White Witch from good to ultra, plus Sympathetic Shield and Camusa's Razor Lead. It takes even more hits for allies. However, while Retort Loop is good, it's hard to be consistent with it, and Ferro Spike Barrier kinda requires White Witch kicking enemies away from it, which is what it doesn't want to do, so it's a bit rare. As for the roles, White Witch is definitely a defender, but it's also so specialized in defender and wanting to be immobilized that it's hard to build it outside of that aspect. Still, sometimes a good offense is just a lot of defense. Anyway, we are gonna talk about the defender striker builds first. Do note that despite their effects, I do not count any White Witch builds with Ferro Lance and or Pinning Spire only to be a controller build, because if I don't do this I will go fucking insane. Witch of Execution is a very standard White Witch build for one purpose: get close fast with Pancrathy and Speed 8, then just immobilizes everything with Ferro Lance or all the Pinning Spire. It's not unique, so you have as much as you want, then you can just chop all your victims with Executioner Nanocarbon Blade. Super simple, super effective. Tip of the spear is instead a more defensive focused Houseguard White Witch with Hardlight defense system and Camusa's Razor, but all that hits to its face add to its Paracausal Retort Loop, which is going to hurt a lot. Mace to the face is a Half-Caliban White Witch that decided to go fast and tough with Pancrathy and Rapid Maneuver Jet, giving it plenty of defense and mobility with integrated Nerveweave for additional boost distance too, and once it gets close, it has the Cannibal. The ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny is a very simple White Witch build that wants to find the toughest bad guy and just beat the shit out of them, using SMN to put them in a hold if Pinning Spire didn't work, plus JKII for the ultimate duel, which with Spaceborn 3, is going to benefit you a lot, and even then, you still have all the Sympathetic Shield to protect allies with because it's not unique somehow.
Played college ball, you know.
Is one of the many super heavy White Witch, this one packing a DD288 and loves to grapple people to immobilize them with all the TSS system plus Brawler for a lot of stunning capability. To put it shortly,
don't fuck with me.
White Witch. Rock the Casbah is a auto-stab Leviathan White Witch instead, one focused more on defending its allies either by shield or by superior firepower, or just throw rocks and then explode them with Siege Spec 1. Strike Witch is one of the 5 Seacomet White Witch builds that survived the cut because there's just too many. It also helps that White Witch is so tough it doesn't really care about damage, and if there's one good way to force enemy to shoot at you, it's by murdering the hell out of them with no way out, and that's what Strike Witch do. We Are Venom is also another Seacomet White Witch build, one with dual Ferro Lance for all the immobilizations to make murdering your enemies easier, and once the enemies hit you enough, either directly or via Sympathetic Shield, the Retort Loop is going to hurt, plus if the enemy is trying to run away, you have a reinforced cabling. And that's all on the Defender Striker White Witch, the most basic White Witch build because the most reliable ways of getting an enemy to attack you is by getting close to them. Anyway, let's get going with the Defender Controller builds. Believe in the Pain That Believes in Without Love is a combat drill White Witch because I decided to start with something insane, because White Witch loves to immobilize people and combat drill loves immobilized victim, with lots of traps and systems to immobilize, plus their Beckoner lets you keep your allies safe, and damage yourself for more armor, and if everything fails, you still have Titanomachy to grapple everything. In Soviet Russia Witch Burns You is a plasma thrower White Witch. It's basically an exploding plasma thrower Ganges, but in a White Witch, the auto cooler represents a tough choice to the GM, as they have to either shoot you, making the witch stronger, or they don't and you get to cool down. The plasma thrower has Supermassive too, allowing you to knock enemies right into white hot flame, very deadly. The buddy who's fun to dive with is one of the many Swarm Body White Witch build, because hey, if you love getting people immobilized, might as well make their hell worse. This one comes with Smite, stunning your enemies and damage yourself, with TTT to combo with the OP Cal Heavy Melee, plus Exemplar to keep your enemy in front of you. Checklist is also a Swarm Body White Witch, with a Sentinel drone to further punish enemies from attacking, and a Auto Stab Nanocomp Heavy Machine Gun with Heavy Gunner to make everything worse for anything within range 8, plus withheld image, spotter, and autopod. Your allies will love you and your enemies will hate you more, thus shooting at you, which is what you want. There's also Grey Wash Hug, another Swarm Body White Witch with a focus on protecting allies with Argonaut Shield and House Guard. Exemplar also keeps your enemy in front of you, and Nanobot Whip keeps them closer. Open Door just makes this build even better. Whispers of the Swarm is a hacker White Witch designed to be as annoying as possible, with Neurospike to cook enemy if they attack you, Scanner Swarm to hack better at point blank range, and all other White Witch weapons and systems. Funny enough, Scorpion is here too, which presents a dilemma to enemy hacker, because if they try to hack this White Witch and fail, they will get screwed, which means the primary danger to White Witch is basically gone, allowing it to run rampant. This Scylla White Witch used the same trick too, preventing enemy hackers from cooking it up effectively by threat, and getting to unleash all the reaction fires with Scylla Heavy Machine Gun or Vorpal Gun, just a lot of pain. Gestalt and Gravity is a Fomorian White Witch with an Uncle Retort loop for all the free damage. Its sheer size and speed makes it very good at protecting allies with House Guard. It even has bonded for more aid to allies, and, well, the only reason why I'm even categorizing this build as Defender Controller is because it has a BB charges for breaking holes in wall and mech. White Witch but bigger is literally just that, a Fomorian White Witch with House Guard and hyperdense armor to protect everyone and become damn near indestructible in the process, and can easily threaten anyone that gets too close with Spaceborn to punch and immobilize people easily. Social Engineering Made Simple is a White Witch that comes with Heatfall for possibly all the actions, as yet again, it's another build that forces GM to focus on you or you will wreak havoc, either with Exemplar to keep an enemy on you, using Auto Cooler to present a dilemma, or just use stub cannons and heavy gunner gravity gun to force enemies to move everywhere. That said, this build could really use Ferro Spike Barrier too, and then utilize the weapons to knock enemies into it for a lot of pain. There really isn't much build using Ferro Spike here. Thmelinlabe is a very simple, very protective, House Guard White Witch, with Sympathetic and Argonaut Shield. It can protect its allies, and with Interdiction Field, it can slow down nearby hostile character, and even when it's slowed, it still has speed 6, when enemy are too far, Metafold Carver keep them closer, and once they are close enough, just stab with the Ferro Lance and repeat until they are all gone. Finally, there's I Command Thee Kneel, a half-goblin White Witch with Osiris and most HorrorOS system for all the hacking. HorrorOS 2 is very good at protecting allies too, and with Exemplar, you can really keep the hostile in front of you, but you might need to get closer to hack with this thing, which is what you want to do anyway. And that's all on the Defender Controller White Witch, powerful at both defending allies and manipulating the enemy even with only sensor range 5, it can easily just move up fast and survive any onslaughts to control its targets with ease anyway. Now, let's move on to the second least numerous builds, the Defender Artillery. Shelter Full of Bombs is a siege-stabilized White Witch that intends to bombard the hell out of the enemies with Neuralinked Charanga and stabilized Retort Loop, just so much range to get rid of any distant foes, plus Heavy Gunner and Stormbringer to make hell for short-ranged strikers, and still have enough systems to protect all its allies just fine. Ultraviolet Coven just get long-ranged rifles instead, specifically, a anti-material rifle and Veil rifle for fire and direct support, and when things get close, it has Stun Crown and Scanner Swarm Neurospike to make things worse for the enemies, plus Oasis Wall for instant cover, with Grease Monkey for more support and just Stun Crown charges. 3050 Feral Warthogs Go is a crit fishing crackshot quad Oracle and AMR White Witch that wants to shoot everything, with Gunslinger to make things worse. It even comes with dual hive drones for cover or pain, just to make things even harder for the enemies. Solomon, I Have Returned is a super heavy Pinyaka White Witch with stabilizer and siege stab for all the range. Just stay back, and bombard the hell out of the enemies, and if you can't fire, you should just throw out all the turret drones and javelin rockets for possibly even more damage. Duck and Cover is instead a Cyclone Pulse Rifle White Witch, with external ammo feed for quick reload, but you will get cooked very fast. That said, with Crackshot, Nuclear Cavalier, and Hunter Lock, this White Witch can hit hard and still defend well. Finally, there's Metal Slug, a flying ace White Witch that just want to take a lot of hits and fire the pain back. House Guard Argonaut shield combo is always nice, same with sympathetic shield, as well as some White Witch systems, and when all things fail, you still have an assault cannon. And that's all on the Defender Artillery White Witch. The heavy mount really lets it be real deadly at long range, and even then, it can still protect its allies well by sticking close to them, since these White Witch won't need to move much. Now, let's talk about the last category, the Defender Support builds. Intrepid Interdiction is a Fomorian battle taxi White Witch, one that can shield its rider with its Argonaut shield and teleport around with blink charges. Also, Infiltrator, when you want to sneak around a bit. Get Down Mr. President is also another Fomorian battle taxi White Witch, being size 3 makes it real easy to carry the whole party, also comes with all the shield, and having Kai bioplating really makes this taxi goes fast. And that's about it on the Defender Support White Witch. I won't say White Witch is specifically good at it, but it works. Anyway, that's all 40 White Witch builds finished reviewing. Once again I would like to thank all of my viewers who have submitted their builds for this episode. White Witch is a very interesting frame for sure, being a SSC size 2 mech that's ridiculously tough and fast, so it's interesting to see how people built this thing. Well, here's the topic for the next episode. That's all for now and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell button. If you really want to support my channel, you could visit my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.